Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be on our EVO 7. It's a new purchase from us. Basically we have bought the highest mileage EVO 7 RS in the country. The reason for this is because we want to see how these cars fare with that many miles on them. We obviously see a lot of nice EVOs with a lot lower mileage. And nowadays these cars aren't really being used as daily drivers, but this particular car, we know the history of it and it has been used daily and yeah, covered quite a few miles. Firstly, there's not many EVO 7 RS videos out there on the market, so I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview on what an RS actually is compared to a normal GSR, give you some details on that, and then what we're going to do is put it in the workshop, give it an inspection and see how it's fared with all that mileage on it. Right, okay guys, so we've now got the EVO into the workshop. We're going to give it a good inspection in a minute, but I just wanted to show you from when we got this car, it was in a really quite a bad way visually. It did look quite tired and the paint was all stained and it was almost yellow, but we have given it like a light machine polish and gone over the paintwork just to bring a bit of life back into it because it was looking very tired. The headlights had all gone opaque and you know, a bit yellowy from the sun, and the paintwork was also, like I say, very stained and not looking too good. So we have just freshened it up slightly. It has been on a road test, so it's looking a little bit dirty, but overall condition of the bodywork's not too bad. It's obviously a high mileage car, so we are going to expect the obvious, you know, stone chips here and there and a little bit of rust, as we know these cars do suffer quite badly from that, so we'll get into that in a little while. Overall, I just wanted to show you the spec of the EVO 7 RS because a lot of people don't know exactly the differences between that and a GSR. People often ask, how would you tell if it is you know, an original RS? And I think the most obvious thing from outside to tell them apart is the black mirrors, the black door handles, and this area here on the A-pillar. So that is all sort of RS spec. An original RS from the factory would have come with steel wheels and sliding calipers as well. So these are now the EVO 7 GSR wheels, but they've been fitted after it was come out of the factory. So it wouldn't originally have those wheels on it, but 90% of these now do put alloys on it. You don't really see them with steel wheels on it. So yeah. Right guys, okay, so under the engine bay of the EVO 7 RS, there is a few ways you can tell this is an RS, or a few differences should I say. The main one being the turbo. So the EVO 7 RS has a titanium impeller on the cold side of the turbo. That's one of the differences. And the main identification of an RS is on this chassis number. So on the bulkhead you can see the genuine Mitsubishi chassis number, and it ends in SNDFZ, and that means that is a genuine RS. So yeah, apart from the obvious visuals on the outside, that is the main telltale point under the bonnet. These engines, it comes with the 4G63 engine, standard horsepower is 280 HP and 280 foot-pounds of torque. So this particular car has been upgraded. Many years ago we did a bit of a stage 1 tune on it. We did an EVO 9 turbo and 3-port boost solenoid fuel pump, and it's now running about 350 horsepower. So yeah, great little package on this car. What we'll do now is we'll go underneath the car, have a little look at the underbody condition, see how it's fared for being in the country since 2014 and covering 120,000 miles. Okay, now we're inside the cockpit. Differences on the RS. So this car has a Momo steering wheel. Optional extra from the factory, which I've found out myself actually recently, learning that these cars you could spec them from Mitsubishi with or without ACD, which is active centre diff. 90% of the RSs I've seen come with the active centre diff, but there's a button normally here, we'll show you on another car, but to scroll through the ACD settings. So this car doesn't have it, which means it's even more mechanical than a normal RS. So underneath the car we'll show you the different diffs, but yeah, that's quite a cool feature on this car because it is so rare. Aircon, again, there's a myth about the aircon on the RSs. Everyone says RSs don't have aircon, but that's actually untrue. Again, that was an optional extra from the factory, so you could spec an RS with aircon, and this one does have it. 5-speed gearbox. It's a different ratio on this gearbox, so it's got like a shorter final drive. So what you'll find is you're revving the car out a little bit higher in 5th gear than you would on a normal GSR. Yeah, so it's got a close ratio, shorter drive on the final drive on the gearbox. And manual windows. So a little bit of weight saving. They reduced the weight with putting in a windy window rather than an electric mechanism, basically. So you don't quite get all the luxuries of the normal GSR. From factory, they came with really basic seats. This car and a lot of the other cars, as soon as they sort of come into the UK or get a couple of owners behind them, they change the seats because they are pretty basic and they don't really hold you. So this one has got the genuine Recaro seats out of a normal EVO 7. Right, okay, this EVO 7 has had the wheels changed and the brakes. Standard form, like I said earlier, I think, that these actually come out of the factory with steel wheels, which is not to everyone's liking, and it also has sliding calipers. So first mod most people do is put a set of alloy wheels on it and the Brembo brakes. So it's got the 4-pot calipers on it, original equipment on the EVO 7, 8s and 9s. So that's been done as a little upgrade. Underneath here, I will just go through the transmission. So the RS transmission is obviously slightly different. You've got the shorter ratio gearbox, shorter final drive, and the transfer box here, which I was talking about earlier with the ACD. So this is the active centre diff is inside the transfer box, and this one is not got the active centre diff part of it. So it's just a mechanical LSD, which is really smart and makes it a more track orientated car, which is great. So moving towards the back, and again this is the RS rear diff, so it's non-active, it's basically a mechanical LSD and it hasn't got any AYC pump on this car. So normally in this corner up here you've got the dreaded AYC pump, we call it, because they just sit there, get corroded and cause the cars lots and lots of problems. So from I guess a maintenance point of view, having an RS, you haven't got that issue to worry about having an AYC pump, because they do fail. Very, very common problem. We see loads of these in the garage that they do end up coming here for a rebuild or a refurbish of the pump because of corrosion. Something quite unique on this car as well is the Olin suspension. It's got adjustable dampening Olin suspension. You might be better looking at this one actually. We actually removed the dirt because you can see this car's covered so many miles, it's pretty dirty. So we actually were wondering what the dampers were, but inside the boot you can actually adjust the top mounts and you can adjust the dampening, on these suspension struts. They're not coilovers, but they're just adjustable dampening, which is pretty cool. Again, it's a very rare feature, but I believe it's factory from standard. So yeah, looking at the rest of the car, obviously it is pretty dirty under here, but it is faring up pretty well. The main issues with these EVOs are the chassis legs. So we're replacing loads and loads of chassis legs, but if you take a quick look up here, you can see that is in pretty good condition, because normally they bulge out along here and blister and corrode. Again with this one, it's absolutely solid, there's no corrosion, no inset, rot or rust. So yeah, this chassis is really good. Another common area is where the rear subframe mounts to the car. There's potentially been a little patch put there, but it's covered in underseal, so I can't see that exactly what's happened there, but it looks like it's had a little repair, which is not unusual. This side's original. And then looking at the rest of the floor pan, along the sills, again, this is a common area. It's just really light surface rust, no big areas of concern. Up here on the front, just where these holes are, these aren't rotten holes, these are like from the factory, but they sometimes go really weak and corrode out. So again, they're really, really solid. So I'm really happy with the chassis on this car. It's not got any, like I say, deep set rot or corrosion. It's just light surface rust. It could do with a good clean up and an underseal. But apart from that, it's a solid shell to start with. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this car. We've had an inspection on it, so there are a couple of faults with it, light mechanical ones. So it's got a brake vibration. Seems like front discs are warped, so a bit of a brake judder there, bit of play in the track rod ends, and there is a bit of a transmission whine as well, which we're yet to diagnose. So we need to give it a few more road miles, get it up on the ramp, and then just listen out to see, work out exactly what the transmission noise is. But apart from that, it's pretty mechanically sound. We're going to tidy the car up, and then we're going to take it on a track day. So the next time you'll see this car, we've got a track day booked actually, Castle Combe. So we're going to make our way over there next week, and then hopefully have some fun on the track. So there's quite a few, well, there's a lot of models of EVO, but specifically on the EVO 7 range, there's about 3 different variants. So you've got the normal GSR, which is an import EVO 7 from Japan, and it has all the luxuries, all the aircon, the electric windows, the AYC. And then going to the UK model is an FQ. So there's a lot of different FQ models, FQ 300, FQ 330, FQ 360. So that's the UK version. If it's got FQ in its name, that means it's UK, been bought in and made in the UK. Other than that, we've got the RS, which this car is. So that gets rarer and rarer as you go down the RS line. And then one car that is a little bit more, well, less common than this car is the RS Sprint. That is basically an RS chassis, and it also has different seats and a little bit more power as well. I think they're about 330 horsepower. So yeah, there's four different models of EVO 7, and yeah, the EVO 7 RS is one of the rarest. So it's quite a popular car. It's very sought after, and people seem to love these because they are more of a driver's car. Also, one thing I didn't mention actually before going through the spec of the RS, maybe we'll put a list up on the video showing you exactly what the differences are. But this car is lighter than the GSR as well because of the electric windows, no AYC. They're coming in at about 80 kilograms lighter than a normal GSR. And there is word, there's nothing actually proven, but these shells are supposed to be stiffened as well. So whether it's extra welds in the chassis, nobody actually really knows, and I can't find anything online about it. But there is talk that these are a stiffer chassis than the normal GSR. So yeah, it's going to be a great car for the track. Really look forward to getting out in it. Okay, so the plan for this car next is to give it a run out on the track. After we've sorted out the mechanical issues, we're just going to get it mechanically sound and then put some road miles on it, hopefully use it on the track. And then after that, once we're happy with the car, we're going to probably sell it. So if you know anyone who may be interested in the car, we'll definitely have it up on the market for sale. And then, yeah, I hope that gives you a good insight on the RSs. There's not a lot of videos or information out there when searching for info on the RSs. So hopefully that helps you work out what's what between the RS models and the GSRs. So yeah, if you like the video, please subscribe, and then we'll see you next time.